Hey guys, welcome back to Vlogmas. Today I am going to be giving you a tour of my entire makeup collection. I did the same video in last year's Vlogmas, and I think it's always so fun to see how my collection has changed over the past year. I would describe my collection as large for the average consumer, but somewhat small for a YouTuber. I love the size of my collection because I feel like I'm able to use everything and rotate through everything, and I really do love most of the products that I own. So I feel like, I've really curated my collection over the years to suit my preferences and my makeup style, and I just love it. So I'm excited to share with you today. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so this desk is where I film my videos, and I also use it as my vanity. So I have these two drawers here in the front. This one is my everyday makeup drawer. So in here I have my project pan items over here in this smaller container. So these are my project pan items. I've got the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer in there, which is almost done, and the Urban Decay Hydromaniac Foundation. Really love wearing these together. The Aether Beauty Highlighter in the shade Pink Diamond Dust. Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. This is the Burt's Bees Gloss Lip Crayon in Santorini Sunrise. Almost done with that as well. And then also this CoverGirl Exhibitionist black eyeliner pencil is also in my project pan. There's some things that I just keep in here all the time, like my powders, but then everything else I rotate monthly. So these are my current November everyday makeup drawer items. Here we have, this is my favorite sunscreen to wear under makeup. This is the Skin 1004 Centella sunscreen. So good, very lightweight. The e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. This I keep in here all the time because it's just great to have to mix with whatever foundation I'm using, or if I feel like my foundation is looking kind of dull and I want to bring some life back to my face, I'll tap a little bit of this on top. This is the Sigma Color Correcting Duo, which I'm also almost done with. I kind of just need to scrape out the rest. This is one of my favorite concealers, sadly discontinued, the Urban Decay Stay Naked concealer. This is so nice for like a satin finish, really good coverage, but really lightweight. This is the Oma Beauty Contour and Highlight Stick. I think they've discontinued this and they're now selling each side individually, so like you can get the contour stick and the highlight stick separately, which honestly I would prefer because I don't usually use my contour and my cream highlight at the same rate, but I do really enjoy that formula. Very creamy, very blendable. Had this for a few years now. I'm kind of trying to head towards using it up. A few powders in here. These I keep in here all the time because I just use them every day. CoverGirl Clean Fresh Pressed Powder. This is my favorite pressed powder. Revolution Translucent Baking Powder, which comes in a different container, but I decanted it into this old e.l.f. loose powder container because the container it comes in, you'll see when we look at my collection, but just not very user-friendly. So that's what's in there. And then the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, which is a great loose powder. And I also have really been into the e.l.f. Powder Puff recently as well for setting powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer in Fair. You can see, really big fan of this one. The Kokie Soft Gradient Blush in Bellissima, really pretty red blush. The other blush I have in here right now is the NYX Sweet Cheeks Blush Mousse in Nude Tude. This is such a beautiful, like spicy brownish blush shade. Got the CoverGirl Yummy Gloss in here, Charlotte Tilbury little mini lipstick in the shade Amazing Amal. It's like a berry red shade. Two of my favorite eyeshadow sticks in here, the Hard Candy Stoned eyeshadow stick is like a matte taupe shade. That one I keep in here all the time because I just really love it for a one and done matte look, and I also really love topping this with ColourPop Ritz. Also, right now I have the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick in Magnetic Pull in my November rotation. This is more of a satin taupe shade. One thing about me is that I love taupe. Then we've got some single eyeshadows. This is a loose powder shadow from JCat. This is their Rockin' the Night Sparkling Powder in the shade Chameleon Effect. It's this fun like green bronze duochrome. I usually just use a wet brush and dip it straight in there, and it actually does give a really pretty foiled look. Flower Chrome Crush Pressed Pigment in Quartz. This is another thing that just stays in here all the time. I love this for like a really glittery topper. Then this is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Ritz. I love wearing this on its own. I also love wearing it on top of like a cream shadow stick. I went ahead and put the little mini quads from my holiday palette basket into here because I feel like I'm way more likely to use them if they're in here versus in that big basket. They kind of get lost. This is the Hard Candy Moods Quad in Purr. Really fun mauve and berry smoky quad. This I wore just yesterday. This is the Kaja Beauty Bento in the shade Chocolate Dahlia. Great nude quad, really gorgeous shimmer. And then The other two shades are matte. There's like a matte light brown and a deeper brown. And then I also have this little stacked quad from Quo Beauty, meant to be like a dupe for the Kaja ones. This one has some like taupey gray cool tones in it and this pop of mint, which is really fun. Then over here, I just have my like brow products, eyeshadow primer, my Milani eyeshadow primer I use every day. This is the best. I have two of the Koki eyebrow pencils. I have the shades Blonde and Auburn. I mainly had Auburn from when my hair was more red to mix in with the blonde to help it match my hair a little bit more, but normally I just use the blonde one. Then we've got the Milk Clear Brow Gel. I don't really care for this too much. The NYX Glitter Primer, which is always good to have with more like glittery shades, or if I want to make a shimmer really pop, this takes it to the next level. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen in Blonde, my pencil sharpener, and then this little Merit eyeshadow brush. Then over here I have all of my eyeliners. So I have a bunch of eyeliners here. I don't really feel the need to go through all of these, but my favorites are the NYX Epic Wear liner sticks. Those are really nice and long wearing. Got some CoverGirl, the Essence, a brown liquid liner from Annabelle, and those I just keep in there so I have easy access to all of them. Most of my containers, by the way, came from Dollar Tree, so that's where these are from. And that is the current state of my everyday makeup drawer. Then in this other drawer here, I keep new arrivals. I don't really have a ton in here right now, but just a few little things I'm testing. The Nomad Travel Palette, the Essence Banana Powder, the Ardell Brow Glue. This is one of the Estate Cream of the Cream lipsticks. I don't think I'm going to keep this one. The other ones I have I already put in my collection. I just don't love this shade. This is the shade Silk. It's just too brown. I don't really like this color on myself, so this one I will probably pass on. This drawer is kind of like the purgatory, so these are things that I haven't like officially put into my collection yet. They're just things I'm testing, deciding if I want to keep them. Then I also have another one of the Kaja Beauty Bento stacked trios in the shade Peach Madeline. Haven't used this yet, but I'm really looking forward to using that. This is a little powder puff from Revolution. Not much going on in there right now, but that is my like new arrivals drawer. Then up here on my desk, I have my brushes in this little rotating holder. This came from TJ Maxx years ago. This is the setting spray that's currently in my Shop My Stash rotation, the Revolution Infinite Mattifying Setting Spray. Actually surprisingly good, like long wearing setting spray. I keep my sponges here in these little sponge holders. Then these are the mascaras that I'm currently rotating. I keep them just here in this mug. I have the Revolution 5D Lash Pow, the Ciate London Triple Shot XXL Mascara, the Milk Kush Mascara, and the Ulta Beauty New Heights Lifting Mascara. Then here in this basket, I keep my seasonal palette rotation. So this is my holiday and winter rotation. I will link the video below where I curated this basket, so I won't bore you because that video just went up recently. But those are the main palettes I will be focusing on throughout the holiday and winter season. This little box, I just keep some like microfiber cloths and rags and little cleansing pads. Then the rest of my collection I store here in these Alex drawers. On top, I just have some perfumes and like my jewelry box, but this is where most of my makeup lives. These drawers I actually thrifted for like $15 at Goodwill last year, which was so exciting. But this is an Alex 4 drawer, so it's a little bit different than most of the drawers you see used for makeup. It has 3 of the smaller drawers, and then at the bottom, instead of having 2 deeper drawers, it's just 1 really deep drawer. So I had to get kind of creative with that deep drawer. And I actually just did a little rearranging in here, so things are looking a little different than they were in my last makeup collection video. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here in this top drawer is where I store my base products. I used to also have cheap products in here, but it was just getting a little full. So I switched things around a little bit. In this first container here, I have all of my foundations and skin tints. This is probably my favorite light to medium coverage foundation, the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. This is so nice. The Physicians Formula Butter Foundation, this is so nice for a more full coverage look. I don't normally like full coverage matte foundations, but this one is really beautiful. Doesn't look cakey, and it has amazing wear time as well. The Ilias Skin Tint, this is my favorite light coverage skin tint. So beautiful. I like that it has some SPF to it as well. This is actually the second bottle of this that I've had. I'm probably like halfway done with this one too. I love it. This is a more affordable skin tint option that's actually really nice. This is the AOA CC cream. I also have the AOA buildable satin foundation. Both of these are surprisingly nice, especially for the price. The CC cream is more of like a skin tint, really beautiful glowy finish on this one. And then the buildable satin foundation is really exactly what you would expect. It does have a satin finish, light to medium coverage. You can definitely build it up to a nice solid medium coverage. I also have the Essence Pretty Natural foundation. This is not my favorite. I have found it to be a little bit finicky. Sometimes it looks amazing, other times I don't love the way it looks. This one actually has more of a satin matte finish. Even though they call it a hydrating foundation, it's pretty mattifying actually. Here we have the Marcel BB Natural Cream. A friend of mine who lives in Canada sent this over because Marcel is, I think, exclusively sold in Canada. This is actually so nice. I don't talk about this much just because this does not come in a good shade range, unfortunately, but if you are able to find a shade that works for you, I do think this is gorgeous on the skin. Similar look to the Ilia Skin Tint and the AOA CC cream, that kind of light coverage, glowy, very healthy look. I like to travel with this a lot. Then in this middle container here, I have concealers and correctors. As you saw, I keep most of my powders in my everyday makeup drawer. The only powder I have in here is just the rest of this Makeup Revolution translucent baking powder. I decanted about a third of this into an old e.l.f. loose powder container because this packaging is kind of annoying. Like, it's just not very user-friendly, but I love the powder itself. As long as you have something else to decant it into, I highly recommend this. So that I just keep there. And I have two color correctors here, the Revolution Under Eye Brightener. This is a little tacky and emollient for my preferences, but it is very brightening, very, very illuminating. So if you want something that really does like brighten the under eye, this is nice. I also have the Milani Conceal and Perfect Under Eye Brightener. This is very different from any other corrector that I've tried. It is a much more thin texture. I'm still kind of getting the hang of this. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I'm going to be reviewing this probably in my next speed reviews since this is pretty new to my collection. This is also pretty new to my collection, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer. Unfortunately, I think I should have gone up a shade. I got the shade Fair 20N. I think I should have gotten Fair 30N because this is just a little bit too light, and I feel like that's affecting how I feel about it. I feel like it just looks a little bit dry on my under eyes, but that could be because of the shade. This would have to be my favorite concealer, the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. So good, definitely lives up to the hype. This has a really nice lightweight, hydrating texture. Doesn't sink into fine lines nearly as much as other concealers do, even though it is hydrating. It doesn't get like sticky or weird. And this is my perfect shade match, the shade Light. These two concealers I like, but they're not top favorites. The LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is nice, it has good coverage. I'm just not in love with it. Like, it doesn't have that wow factor that the NYX one does, but I still definitely, enjoy using it. And then the Tarte Shape Tape Creamy Concealer. I also think this is nice, but probably not something I would get again once I use it up. I don't know, it's just kind of average. And then back here I have primers and setting sprays. I don't have a ton of primers. I have this mini e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I definitely like this primer for pore filling, which is what it's for if you want to kind of smooth out the skin. I do feel like this does what it's supposed to do. I also have the Milk Hydra Grip Primer. Honestly, I feel like I haven't used this enough to have a strong opinion on it because I've just been using my e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer so much. So once I use up the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer, I will start using this and I'll report back with my findings. And then I also have the Glow Recipe Watermelon Niacinamide Dewdrops. These I mainly use as a mixer. I like mixing them with foundations, or if I ever have a concealer that I want to wear as a foundation, I'll just mix in like a drop or two of this, and it thins it out just enough to make it look really nice on my skin. I was doing that a ton earlier this year with the Kosas concealer, and I loved that combo. Then I have 4 setting sprays in here. The Flower Seal the Deal Hydrating Setting Spray. I like this product itself, but I really hate the sprayer I shared recently. I kind of wish that I hadn't bought this just because the sprayer is just weird. Like, it does give a fine mist, but it also, every time I use it, I get these big droplets on my face and it like messes up my foundation underneath. So I'm just not a huge fan of the packaging of this. I have the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is a great setting spray if you want your makeup to lock in and last like a long day. I often reach for this for like special occasions, or if I'm like going to a wedding or something, this is usually the setting spray I use. But honestly, the Makeup Revolution Sport Fix and the Infinite one, which is currently just I'm keeping on top of my vanity, Both of these I feel like are good affordable alternatives to the Urban Decay All Nighter. Both of these I feel like really do lock in my makeup. I've even used the Infinite setting spray in place of setting powder and it worked great. Like it really did feel like it set my makeup down nicely. So the Infinite one is just a little bit more mattifying and the Sport Fix it just gives more of a natural finish similar to All Nighter, and I really enjoy both. So I would recommend either of these if you're looking for something more affordable. Also from Makeup Revolution, I have their Calming Fixing Spray, and this is a good fixing spray just to kind of meld all my makeup together at the end to take away the look of powder. I do feel like it helps lock things in a little bit, but not quite as much as like All Nighter or Sport Fix or the Infinite one. But this is just a good everyday setting spray, and it does have kind of a nice spa-like scent that I enjoy. I do think Makeup Revolution makes some of the best setting sprays that I've tried. I've tried like 4 of them and I've liked all of them. Alright, then in this next drawer I actually have quite a bit of unused space in here, which is always nice, you know, room to grow or just room for my products to breathe. But the second drawer is where I keep my cheek products. Like I said, I used to have these combined with the base products, but that was just too much for one drawer. So in this container, I have all of my powder cheek products. So we have a couple of bronzers over here. I have the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade In the Sun. I would say this is probably my favorite bronzer in my collection. I just love this. It's so just easy to use, great tone for fair skin. And then I also have the AOA Studio Perfect bronzer here. This is like $1. I have the shade Frappe in this, and this is also a great shade for my skin tone. Nice neutral tone, not too orangey. So those are the only 2 powdered bronzers in here. Then these are my powdered blushes. I have the Sigma blush in Cor de Rosa. This is a really pretty shade. I have a lot of blush. That's like most of what this drawer is, so I'm gonna kind of speed through these. This is the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade Shimmery Rose. I know it's gotten a lot of hype. I definitely think it lives up to the hype. If you like a glowy blush, if you like the Milani baked blushes, this is very similar and a little bit more affordable. I have another one of these in my everyday makeup drawer, but this is the Kokie Soft Gradient Blush in the shade Star-Crossed. And I like that there's some peach mixed in too, because I do feel like, at least on my skin tone, I need like a little bit of peach for it to really work. Like if I were to just use this part of the blush, it would probably be way too pink on me. So I think this makes that shade of blush a little bit more wearable. I love this one. This is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots blush in the shade Sweet Pea. I love how light this is. It's a great like cool pink shade for fair skin. Another one from Essence here. This is the Essence The Blush in the shade Befitting. Really pretty neutral mauve color. I love this one. I have 2 shades of the Milani baked blushes. We have Luminoso and Berry Amore. I love both of these. I've really been getting a lot of use out of Berry Amore recently. This shade is so pretty for the fall and winter. It's like this rosy bronze shade, another glowy option. Luminoso, such an icon. Really pretty peachy color. I love this one in the spring and summer. Then the rest of these are highlighter. I have this ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Monster. This is a really fun white and pink duochrome shade. Not something I wear all the time, but when I do, I just think it is so fun. This I feel like is a super underrated highlighter, the Estate Baked Highlighter in the shade Lit. Really smooth looking on the skin. You can get a more subtle look or you can build it up to be more intense. This one, I actually feel like this is kind of similar to the Estate one. This is the Makeup Revolution Reloaded highlighter in the shade Just My Type. Kind of a pearly champagne color. This is like the lightest highlighter I have. I do have to be kind of careful not to over apply this or else it can look a little too light on my skin, like a little too frosty. This might be my top favorite highlighter. This is the Nabla Skin Glazing highlighter in the shade Privilege. This is such a stunning highlighter formula. This is one of the only highlighters I've tried that I can apply like to my forehead, my nose, and it doesn't look crazy in those areas. Like it actually just blends into my skin really nicely and looks very natural. Yeah, I would still say this is one of the best highlighter formulas that I have come across. This is another one of my favorite highlighters. I feel like I say that about everything, but I really do love like the majority of my collection. This is the Aether Beauty Crushed Diamond highlighter in the shade Pure Diamond Dust. I also have the shade Pink Diamond Dust in my project pan. These are really, really beautiful, very sparkly, so kind of polar opposite of like the Nabla one. These are super sparkly, but they still go on the skin looking really smooth. But unfortunately, this brand is no longer around. I also have the Sigma highlighter in Sizzle. This is a really pretty color, kind of like just a very neutral champagne, so I feel like this is the kind of shade that goes with everything. Those are all the powder cheek products. And then these other two containers are my creams and liquids. So here in the middle I have like sticks and anything that just didn't fit well with these other things. This is the only liquid bronzer I have. This is the JLo Beauty That Star Filter Complexion Booster. I think you can actually use this for a lot of different things. Like you could mix it with your foundation, you could wear it as a primer, you can use it, I've used it mainly as a liquid bronzer. Honestly, I don't love this. I do feel like sometimes it can look kind of patchy. I have the LYS bronzer stick in the shade Motivate. I love this one. This is like a really beautiful caramel bronzer. The stick has come loose from the bottom though, which is annoying. And then the NYX Wonder Stick, this is a dual-sided contour and highlight. The highlighter in this has also come undone, like it falls out. I need to like heat that up and stick it back down in there. But I love this product. This has really good staying power. I love the contour as well. This I have in the shade Fair. I got two of the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek sticks. I have the shades Work and Quickie. I actually think this formula is super overhyped. I just don't think there's anything that special about this formula. I don't like how stiff these are. I find that when I apply them directly to my face, they tend to lift up the foundation underneath and they just kind of go on patchy. So the best way to apply these is to just pick them up on a brush and then apply them to the face. But I do like that you can also wear these on the lips. I do like both of these colors as lip colors. And I like the final result that I get with these. I just kind of feel like they're a bit overhyped for what they are. Another stick blush, this is the Essence Baby Got Blush in the shade Peaches and Cream. This has a super strong like watermelon bubblegum scent, but a really pretty shade. This is another one I prefer to either just pick up on my fingers and apply, or apply to a brush and then my face. This one has a bit more of a creamy texture though than the Milk ones. Like it is a bit softer, more emollient, but I don't like drawing this directly on my face either. I feel like it just doesn't give me as even of an application, and that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Like I feel like if you're going to package a product in stick form, it should be like the kind of thing you can swipe on and then tap out with your fingers, you know? Like that's kind of what I think of when I think of a stick cream blush, but unfortunately most of them don't work that way. The NYX Wonder Stick, however, does work that way, and I really appreciate that. Got two liquid blushes here. We have the Kaja Whipped Dream in the shade Meringue Pink. This formula reminds me a lot of the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush mousses. Very similar like feel. They blend out to like a satin matte finish, and this color I really like. It's very, very easy to just dot on, blend out super quick, and it's the kind of like peachy pink color that just goes with a lot of looks. Another product from AOA here, this is the Plush Blush in the shade Cumulus. I know it looks like a nail polish, but it is a blush. I was especially loving this summer. I love this like watermelon red color for the summertime. The color looks kind of scary, but this is like a sheer formula, so I just put on like a couple dots on my cheeks and I get just the perfect amount of color. It literally is like a nail polish. It has this like brush applicator. I'll just dot it on my cheeks, blend it out with a brush, and I love it. I love this color. I feel like this is kind of a hard color to find. So that's everything for this section. Then over here we have some more creams. I have one more bronzer in here. This is the Soul Body Bronzing Balm. I love this. You can see I've used a lot of that. This is a great matte cream bronzer. Very, very user-friendly. Something that's not very user-friendly in my opinion, this is the Jones Road Miracle Balm in the shade Flushed. So this is one of the like blush shades. It is truly a balm. It feels very waxy to me, but the fact that it's such a like a balmy product, I feel it does not lend itself well to a cream blush, because when I apply it over foundation, it just breaks apart the foundation immediately, which makes sense because it's so balmy. So I would really only recommend this if you don't wear foundation and you really like a very balmy emollient product on your face. Another product from LYS, this is their cream blush in Kindness, really fun peachy coral shade. This is a great, like almost cream to powder feeling formula. This is one of the few cream blushes that I feel like I can apply over powder and it doesn't mess up the makeup underneath. So if you're looking for something like that, this is a good one. And it does set down to be pretty matte. Then we have the Tower 28 cream blush in Magic Hour. Love this color. It's like a nude peach. Really got back into this summer. I think this is a pretty nice formula. It is a little bit sticky. I do feel like for the price, you know, you can get really good cream blushes at the drugstore. In fact, I really do think the Milani cream blushes are a great, more affordable alternative to the Tower 28 ones. If you don't mind a bit of a sticky feel, otherwise I do really like this blush. I'll go ahead and talk about this Milani one next. This is the Milani Cheek Kiss cream blush in the shade Nude Kiss. Not quite as sticky as the Tower 28, definitely a different formula. Like, I wouldn't call it a dupe. It's a little bit thinner. I love this. It gives my skin such a nice, juicy, plump look. I talked about this in a products I regret buying video recently. This is the About Face cream blush in the shade Laid. I like the formula a lot. It's not an issue with the formula whatsoever. I just really wish I had picked a different shade because, like I said before, I'm not really big into these bubblegum pink blushes. I really just bought it because that color was so trendy at the time, and I'll still use it. I like that this is a more sheer and buildable formula, so it doesn't go on as bright as it looks in the pan necessarily. And this is another kind of velvety cream to powder type of formula. It also has a matte finish, kind of like the LYS one, but a little bit thinner, I guess I would say. I have a couple of e.l.f. putty cheek products. This is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Blush. They were not kidding when they said this was luminous because it is very luminous. This is the shade Maui, and it's this pretty like neutral nude pink. Love the color. It has like a golden shimmer to it, and it's definitely one of those that, like, if I apply too much of this, my cheeks almost look too metallic. Like, as long as I don't over apply, which I shouldn't be over applying anyway, then it looks really pretty. And I do love this color. It's the kind of shade that goes with everything. I also have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is just the regular, not the luminous, in the shade Feelin' Shady. This is really more of a contour color, and I like this because it's very sheer. And for me, especially with bronzers and contours, I really prefer something sheer like this that I can not really have to worry about it making my face look like I have dirt all over it, you know? Like, it looks very natural on my skin. It's very easy to work with. I actually think I'm pretty close to hitting pan on this. And then another cream blush. This is another totally underrated product. This is the Minori cream blush in the shade Scarlet. I love this shade so much. I do feel like it's kind of hard to find red blushes. This is a really pretty warm red, another like sheer buildable formula. Alright, the next drawer down is my lip drawer. I have these kind of organized by category. So in this container I have my lip pencils. Here I have lip glosses, lip stains, and like tinted lip balms. And then here I have more traditional lipsticks. So in this container here I have my lip liners. My absolute favorite lip liner formula is from Kokie. I love these. These are actually really long wearing. Like, once they dry down, they are locked in. They are not going to budge. I have the shades True Red, which is a nice classic red shade, Nude. I love this color. This is my perfect nude lip color. Warm Nude, which is more of like a warm peachy pink nude. And then Dusty Rose. It's kind of like a mauve-y color. So those are my favorite lip liners. I also have these two from Jones Road. I have Mauve and Nudist in that line. I think these are nice. I definitely would not pay full price for them if I were you, but I do think these are a nice creamy lip pencil if you like an actual like wooden pencil. I love the shade Nudist. It's kind of similar to Nude from Kokie, but just a little bit more pink. I've got this super long pencil. This is from Wet n Wild in the shade Brandy Wine. Got these two AOA lip liners in the shades Satin and Cuddle. Those are both like peachy colors. This is another one of my favorites, the Essence Soft and Precise lip pencil in the shade Happy. I like this. This is really different from any of my other lip pencils. Kind of a stiff formula, but I really like how it gives like almost a blurred effect to the lips. And then lastly here we have the BK Beauty lip liner in Warm Spice. Not the kind of shade I wear all year round, but I do like it in like the fall and winter. Like a kind of like a cinnamon spice sort of shade. So those are all of my lip pencils. Then these, like I said, are my more kind of comfy lip products. I have glosses here. We have the Tower 28 gloss in Pistachio. I love that. I'm just going to go kind of quickly through these. The e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss. This is a great drugstore lip gloss formula. I have the shade Champagne Glam. I don't love this one as much. This is the Rimmel Stay Glossy gloss in Bare Minimum. This has a pretty effect on the lips. Like, it looks pretty glossy. I like the color, but it smells like baby wipes, which I hate, and it's a little bit sticky as well. We have the Ciate London Dewy Gloss in Heartbeat. This is a kind of like sheer coral red shade, and the Lawless Forget the Filler lip gloss in the shade Juicy Watermelon. I actually love this lip gloss formula. I definitely think it lives up to the hype. Very kind of thick gloss formula, so you have to like that. But for a lip gloss, this has amazing staying power. Like it's one of those glosses that's really going to adhere to your lips and stay there for a while. This is the Sigma Renew lip oil in the shade Tint. Just a nice nude tinted lip oil. Really feels like a gloss. Like there's nothing about this that feels more like an oil than a gloss, honestly. I like pairing this with a nude lip pencil for just a really easy, comfortable nude lip. But I don't know, like this isn't like a favorite either. These are two lip stains from Aether Beauty, RIP. I have the shades Wisdom and Influence. This is like my favorite lip stain formula that I've tried. It's glossy, the stain actually lasts, but it looks really nice and even and not like patchy on the lips. Really pretty, very sad that you can't get these anymore. My favorite lip oil, this is the Ciate London Bronze Glow Shimmering Lip Oil. This is really more of like a clear lip oil. It's got a little bit of a bronzy shimmer to it, but this has such a nice texture. Very cushiony, does feel like it actually lasts on my lips, gives me some good moisture. It kind of feels like a lip treatment and a lip gloss in one. Another lip stain from Amuse. This is a K-Beauty brand. I actually do really enjoy this formula. I don't love this color. This is the shade Fig. Not my favorite color on myself, but the formula of this is really nice. Similar to how I was describing the Aether ones. Once the color is on, it doesn't really transfer much, which is really nice. So that's a good lip stain option. And then I've got some tinted lip balms. We have this Quo Glowy Lip Balm in the shade Coral. This is one of those like pH changing lip tints. It kind of just looks pink on the lips. I love these. These are the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine. So these are tinted lip balms. I have the shades Happy and Cheery. Happy is my favorite. This is like a mauvey nude shade. Perfect My Lips But Better shade. Cheery is really fun for the like springtime, for kind of a bright reddish coral. And then I also have the AOA Bombshell tinted balm in the shade Kitten. This is like a sheer red, kind of like the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine, but this gives a nice sheer red color to the lips. This will be fun for some holiday makeup looks. Then over here we have my more traditional lipsticks. Honestly, lately I don't wear a whole lot of regular lipstick. Usually I'm reaching into this section and my lip liners, but I do wear lipsticks still from time to time. I have these sort of organized by brand for any that I have multiple from the same line. So I have 4 of the Urban Decay Vice lipsticks. They actually have a few different finishes. So I have one of the Shine, 2 of the cream, and then 1 of the matte. The Shine one is kind of like a more glossy lipstick. This I have in the shade Local. The one matte shade I have is the shade Art Walk, which is this fun bright pink. And then in the cream formula I have the shades Liar and Olvera, which is a really fun like red orange shade. I would say the cream formula is probably my favorite because it's not like a complete matte finish, but it actually stays on really well. Then I have 3 of the BK Beauty lipsticks. This is a really nice, more comfortable lipstick formula as well. Grace, which is a really nice light, slightly cooler toned brownish nude, and then Kindness is a really pretty warm peachy nude. I really enjoy both of these. These are super creamy and they really feel like a lip balm almost. Then I have one of their newer, more bold colors. This is the shade Empower, which is like a bright red orange. This is really fun in like the summertime. I do have one of the e.l.f. O-Face satin lipsticks. This is in the shade No Doubt. I do really like this color. This is a nice kind of beige nude. I do need to fix mine though because it has come loose. The lipstick bullet has come loose from the bottom. So I need to fix that. But this is a really nice, comfortable formula as well. This is from CoverGirl. This is their 24-hour matte lipstick in Thrill Seeker. This is a fun, really bright, pinky red shade. Then I have one of the Wet n Wild lipsticks. I think this is called the Catsuit Matte line. I have the shade Skinny Dipping. Another great nude one. This one I also need to fix because it's come loose, as you can see. That's happened to a lot of my... Oh my god, why did I do that? That's happened to a lot of my products, apparently. But I do really like this formula for a matte lipstick. I have 3 lipsticks from the brand Estate Cosmetics. This one is a bit older. This is their Lip Thirst line, and I have the shade Pina, which is this really fun, kind of vampy, purpley plum shade. And these are from their new Cream of the Cream lipstick line. I have a nude and a bold shade. The nude shade is Fluffy. It's a nice slightly warmer brown nude. I don't really have any other lipsticks quite this color, and this formula is very comfortable. It's kind of like semi-sheer, somewhere in the middle between sheer and opaque, and very moisturizing. And then I also have the shade Whipped. This is a bright red color. From Kaja, this is the Love Swipe in the shade Call Me, another berry, kind of a berry red. I really like this formula. It's kind of like a blotted liquid lip, sort of like the ColourPop Ultra Blotted Lip, but not nearly as drying. Like, this doesn't really feel like it dries down on the lips, but it does have really good staying power. I also have another one from Kaja. This is their Heart Melter in the shade Let's Chill. Kind of a similar concept to the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips, which unfortunately I had to declutter because I think I'm allergic to them. Kind of a similar concept, like you click it up down here, but it's not quite as much of like a solid lip gloss stick as the Tarte ones. It's more of like just a creamy lipstick. It does have a bit more color payoff, but it still has some shine to it. But if you found the Tarte ones a little too gloopy, you might enjoy this one more. This is from another brand that went out of business. This is the Bite Lip Crayon in the shade Stinger. Still one of my favorite summer lip shades. This is such a fun and really unique coral shade. Love that. Got two of the e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipsticks. I have the shades Nectar and Persimmon. I also used to have Cream. Think is a nice warm kind of pumpkin-y nude, and then Persimmon is a very bright orange. I like this formula. I think they might be discontinuing these, but I liked that they were only like $2, and honestly a pretty nice like satin matte formula. But the packaging is definitely very flimsy. These three are from the brand Queen Musea. Really fun packaging here. I like the shades. They have, a lot of their shades are kind of like that soft coral that I really like. I feel like their shades are pretty unique. So this one is called Molly Bloom. This one is Montreux, like a soft red coral. And then this is Dorian, which is like an even lighter red coral. Yeah, I had never heard of this brand before. They sent these over in PR, and I like them. I don't think the formula is really anything that spectacular. Like, it's not really any different from like the e.l.f. Seriously Satin or other more affordable things, and these are pretty pricey, but I do think they have some really fun shades, and I like the packaging a lot. Another kind of fun packaging one, this is the Base Blue Cosmetics Matte Attraction Lipstick in the shade 01. And this is another just like classic holiday red shade. And this one is very matte, very long wearing. And those are all of my lip products. Alright, so we've made it to the bottom drawer. This is that really deep drawer, and this is another thing that has changed from the last time. I used to have some of my palettes and eye products in what is now the lip drawer, but I've decided now to just store all of my palettes in here. All of the palettes that are not part of my seasonal palette rotation will just live down here, because I do sometimes use the palettes that aren't part of my seasonal basket, but most of the time I'm just using one of those seasonal palettes. So I don't really mind having just all of these down here, and they actually fit really nicely. I kind of stood them up like vertically so I could make use of all this vertical space in here. I also have these kind of organized by brand. I have some Sigma palettes here. We have Sigma Ambiance. Love this palette. New Mod, which is really beautiful. I have a 7 Looks 1 palette with this one from earlier this year. And also the Sigma and Angela Bright palette, which is a really fun kind of half colorful and half neutral palette, really versatile. I have my very old ABH Norvina palette here. This one has lots of pan in it. I guess this is my only remaining ColourPop palette. This is my ColourPop Winnie the Pooh Sweet as Can Be palette, but this is a really fun color story as well. It's like half pinky nude shades and then some really pretty like greens and earthy tones up here. Another discontinued palette. This was such a great palette from e.l.f., the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. I always loved this color story. This side has more earthy tones, this side has more blue tones. Really fun, really unique, and honestly great quality for the drugstore. This is one of the Ace Boutte floral palettes. The other two are in my holiday palette basket right now. This is the Flora. Love these fiery yellows and reds in here. Another kind of yellowy palette. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon palette in Call Me Sunshine. A great affordable alternative to the Urban Decay Naked Honey. I actually like it better. Then these are 3 of my 4 Flower Lights palettes. The other one is in the holiday basket, but we have Coastal Lights. This is one of their new ones. Desert Lights, probably my favorite. Just love those rosy tones. And Jungle Lights, the OG. This one is really fun for some colorful pops. Then I have some of my smaller palettes tucked away here. We have the Hard Candy Moods Quad in Buzz. Honestly, a surprisingly good quality little yellow monochrome drugstore quad. This is a fun one from Unleashia. This is their Glitterpedia number 7 palette. I got this like right at the beginning of fall. I used it a little bit, but I definitely think I'm going to be using this a lot more in the spring and summer. I love these kinds of shades in the spring and summer. This has some gorgeous, really sparkly shades. Another great affordable little palette. The writing has kind of rubbed off of this one, but this is the Essence Coral Me Maybe palette. Honestly, quality-wise, this is one of the best, if not the best, like little pocket palette from the drugstore that I've tried. Another one from Aether. This is their Citrine quad. I love this quad. I always say this to me looks like the compact version of Sigma Ambiance. Like it's like a mini version of Ambiance. One of the only Urban Decay palettes that has survived my mini declutters, this is the Urban Decay Mini Naked Sin. Pretty basic, neutral, rosy color story. Leans very light, but I really like these tones, especially like this lighter matte. I'll just pop that in the crease and put any of the shimmers on the lid, and I've got just a really easy everyday look. So that's one container. I wanted to show what the container looks like. I got these from Daiso. They're just these nice rectangular bins, and that's what I have the palettes stacked in. So that's this one, and then I have another one here at the front. We have the Odin's Eye Sea Talk palette. This was the one they did in collaboration with Lauren May Beauty. I love this palette. This is such a fun, colorful palette. I love that it's got some taupes in it as well. The shimmers in here are insanely gorgeous. Like, they are so sparkly, and you can kind of tell just looking at them, but they're so pretty. This is the only Odin's Eye palette I've tried, but I'm really impressed. Then I've got a few of my Alter Ego palettes. This is their Midsummer, which is a dupe for ABH Nouveau. I was using this a ton over the summer. I love this color story. We have the Alter Ego Sakura palette, which I've used a couple times, but really think I'm gonna probably get more use out of this in the springtime with those really pretty mint colors. This, I think, is a dupe for Natasha Denona Retro, or one of the retro palettes. And then we have Coastal, which is a dupe for the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. This is a really nice one as well. I've really enjoyed all the Alter Ego shadows I've tried. I think their quality is phenomenal. This is from Estate Cosmetics. It's their Mystic Forest palette. I love this grungy fall color story. Got a few Nomad palettes here. This is their Ghost Town USA, probably my top favorite palette release of 2023. I just think this is such a fun and different color story, especially for a fall palette. It's just something a little bit different. Lots of color options in here, and I like that it's all like more muted colors, so it feels kind of more approachable than your average just super colorful palette. Another one from Nomad here. This is their Verona palette. This one's really fun. We've got the like red and pink side, and then the more dark and smoky side. This side is my favorite. I just love these tones together. But the red side's really fun too, especially for like some Valentine's Day looks. Then this is the Nomad Okavango Safari palette. I don't even normally like olive green colors on myself, but this palette made me like green a lot more. Here's a really fun one from Clarity Cosmetics. This is the So Mermazing palette. This is so much fun if you love pastel shades, and the shimmers in here are unbelievable. Then we have this is my custom Lethal Cosmetics 12 pan. I have a whole video where I built this palette. Another one from Ace Beauté. This is their Aura palette. I decluttered the Envy palette that came along with this one just because I just didn't use those colors very much, but this one's really fun. I love the combination of green and purple and berry. Two of my BH Cosmetics palettes. The third one I had, Lost in Los Angeles, I depotted, which I'll show you in a second. This is Mimosa, and this is Summer in Saint-Tropez. So this right here is one of my magnetic palettes. I have my singles kind of scattered about. These are depotted from the BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette, And then that is like a depotted ColourPop shade from Miss Bliss. I just had it with these because it kind of goes with those shades. Honestly, if I wanted to depot another one of my BH palettes, it would fit perfectly over here. So I'm kind of thinking about potentially depotting my other two and just combining all the shades together, since all the shades really work together from all three palettes. Then I have, what's in here? I don't know, I just kind of have my singles. Not very organized right now, but there's a ColourPop single in there. A few more ColourPop singles here in this magnetic quad. These are some Clarity singles. Their single pans are gigantic, but these are 3 Clarity shades. This is Capri Sun, Smoking Mirrors, and Playboy. This is a like single pan Z palette with one of my Makeup Geek singles. Then here in this little container I have some of my potted cream eyeshadows. This is the ever popular Merit Solo Shadow. I have the shade Studio. Really like this shade. Definitely don't recommend this formula. I do think it is entirely overrated. It does crease and fade on me throughout the day. Not quite as much this light shade. I also used to have the shade Viper, which is like a more like deep forest green shade. And that one was super patchy, very like just creased terribly. I think because this shade is closer to my skin tone, the patchiness and fading isn't quite as noticeable with this one. And it is, like, I do really love this color for just an everyday rosy nude shade on the lids, but I definitely don't think this formula is worth the hype. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize Cream Shadow in Rose Gold. Another one that I don't think lives up to the hype. It's just a cream shadow. The shade is pretty, but nothing that unique. This, I think, is underhyped. This is the Ulta Beauty Lustrous Foil Eyeshadow in the shade Rose Gold. It's like a pressed pigment almost, so I keep the plastic piece on top just to keep it pressed down. If you like a really flaky, foiled, glittery eyeshadow, this is stunning. This is a really unique one. This is the Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome Flakes in Strobe Light. So this is kind of like a jelly eyeshadow with these really pretty iridescent, different sized flakes in it. And you can tap on like a little bit and just get a really like scattered glitter effect. Or if you apply more of it, it turns into like a chrome finish on your eye. It's really fun. Definitely like more of like an editorial look type of product, but I really like it. And then this is my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in A Little Quirky, which is a really pretty bronzy taupe with some silver shimmer to it. Similar to Ritz, which I keep in my everyday makeup drawer, but this one has a little bit more of like a deeper base pigment. Then here in this old candle jar I have some shadow sticks and liquid shadows. These are the e.l.f. No Budge shadow sticks in Rose Gold and Copper Chic. I also have Magnetic Pull in my everyday makeup drawer. Love these. Really great, easy, one and done eyeshadow stick. My favorite is the shade Copper Chic. This is the Hard Candy Eye Def eyeshadow stick in the shade Pony, which is like a purpley taupe satin shade. I also have the matte shade called Stoned in my everyday makeup drawer, and I love that one. That's my favorite. This is a really fun color from Urban Decay. This is their eyeshadow stick in Fishbowl. Definitely don't wear this super often, but it is a really fun, like, bright blue. If I ever want to do, like, a bright blue liner in, like, the springtime, I love, like, a bright blue like this paired with, like, a peachy lip. Also have the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. I honestly don't wear this that often, but it is good to have for just like a white base. I've got 3 of the Hard Candy Eye Def liquid shadows. We've got this silver color, this turquoise color, and this purple. They don't have the actual shade names on here. I like these. My favorite is definitely the purple one, actually. This one has almost like a gold duochrome shift to it. The other two aren't quite as shifty. I don't love this formula. I do feel like it's kind of difficult to work with. They don't blend out super easily, like they kind of blend away if you're not careful, so you have to just really carefully blend them. But for just like a topper or an inner corner pop, I do think they're really fun. They're affordable, so you know, if you see a color you like, I don't think they're terrible, but I don't think this is like the best liquid eyeshadow formula either. I do like this formula a little bit better. This is the LA Girl Dream Glitter Iridescent Liquid Eyeshadow. I have the shade Rose Gold. They have some other really fun shades of this too. But this is just a really pretty glittery rose gold topper. Back here I just have some mascaras that are unopened, so I will get to these soon. But we have the Ciate London Wonder Wand mascara, the Milani Highly Rated Anti-Gravity mascara. This one I love. I've already used one of these up. Really excited to crack into this one. And then we have the 100% Pure Fruit Pigmented Ultra Lengthening Mascara. Excited to try this too. I've never tried the 100% pure mascaras, so those are my 3 like next in line mascaras to open. And then back here I just have some false lashes, which I don't wear super often, but they're fun to have to wear on occasion. I've got some Ardell Eco lashes. These are just the Ardell, I think, like, I don't know, the 174. I don't know what those are called. I've got a couple of the BK Beauty and Risa Does Makeup false lashes. And then this is a pair from Bright Lashes. I haven't tried these yet. These are called the Flutter style. So those I just keep back here for when the mood strikes. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my makeup collection. Definitely be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. And I will talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye!